Hey guys, this is Blue Forest. I hope you're doing well. So that was an example of me wall dodging a Rhinox Special 2 in a raid that I just done. So I want to just talk about wall dodging specials, give you some tips, because it's such a useful thing to be able to do. And then we'll talk a little bit about Fog of War. And so in terms of wall dodging specials, Rhinox is a great example because the Special 2 can be very tricky. It's obviously very similar to a Necro Special 2. And even though the movements are different, it's the same principle as any sort of slashing or swinging attacks. So like a OGP Special 1 or a Demotron Special 1 or a Grinder Special 2. There's lots of examples. At the end of the day, it always comes down to timing, right? So you just have to learn the specific timing for each particular special, because even though a lot of specials have a similar amount of hits, there is variability in the timing. And so if you find yourself backed into the corner, you really just want to do that back step. You kind of want to press yourself up against the wall a split second before each hit would make contact with you, right? So Rhinox is going to do those 3 chain gun attacks. If you're backed up against the wall, you just do that back step right before each hit would hit you. And then when he does that final range attack, you just do a slight sidestep. And the great thing about wall dodging special attacks is that, number one, it is one of the best things you can do to improve your gameplay. And number two, anybody can do it. You don't have to be the greatest player in the world. You just have to be willing to learn the timing, okay? And this is also true, by the way, for some of the tricky range specials, like a Blaster Special 2, a Prowl Special 2, or a Necro Special 1, which is incredibly tricky to dodge sometimes. And so what I recommend you do is that you simply practice. So go into an arena, go into a time slide, an easier difficulty where it doesn't really matter whether you get hit or even die. And if you have trouble with somebody like Rhinox's Special 2, push them up to 2 bars of power and then bait it out. Because I think what a lot of people do is they want to be able to dodge attacks like that. They try a few times, they fail, and then they give up. And then what ends up happening is people end up either hoping that when the opponent launches a tricky special, they'll be far enough away to dodge it completely, or they just block it. And blocking specials should be a last resort, especially in difficult content, because if you're blocking specials consistently, you're going to take a lot of damage. You don't want to be doing that. So you just have to be willing to fail, because you will screw it up the first 3 times or the first 5 times, doesn't matter. But eventually, if you practice enough, you will get the hang of it, and then you'll be able to dodge a lot of these tricky specials, even when you're against the wall, very consistently, okay? Because one other thing you have to bear in mind is that with a lot of these specials, certainly true with Rhinox and Necro Special 2, is that they are going to travel farther across the arena than you might think, right? They make that big first movement, and you see this with a lot of specials. So even if you have some distance from a bot like Rhinox, if he launches that special, he's going to be able to get right up in your face really fast. And you might still end up against the wall, even if you have some distance from him. So you can't only rely on distance. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. So best advice, like I said, practice, be willing to fail, learn the timing, and eventually you'll be able to dodge a lot of these attacks very consistently. And so with that said, I wanted to talk about Fog of War, right? So Fog of War is the special mission which allows you to accumulate class sparks, particularly the T4C, which is of course one of the rarest currencies in the game. And over the last couple of years, it has happened twice a year at the same time, the last week of June and the last week of December, okay? Now, obviously, they could change the schedule, but I doubt they will, because it has only been running twice a year and it is only a 1-week event. So I would say it's very likely that it will come in exactly a month. Right now it's May 25th, so I definitely believe that it will come the final week of June in about 4 weeks. And the thing about Fog of War is that if you want to be able to accumulate a nice chunk of T4C, which I definitely recommend you do, because you need that to rank 5 and rank 6 your bots, you obviously need to make sure you have time during that week, but you need Energon, right? Because you're going to want to run through it a lot, believe me. Because the thing about Fog of War is that it is a 10 bot mission, so there's 10 fights. Each node takes 6 energy. So it's 60 energy total, so that's almost a full energy refill. And the bots are generally rank 4 and 5 bots. You have a couple of mini bosses that repeat themselves, and then one final boss. So the last final boss was Dirge. Before that, I think it was Primal. So it'll probably be a different class of boss this time. It could be one of the new bots like Ironhide or Skywarp or possibly even Slipstream. We don't know. But you have these 10 fights, and the thing is you are getting a very small amount of essence per run. So you're getting between 20 and 40 shards per fight, and then you get, I believe, 80 for the final boss. So it's very slow going, and that means if you want to accumulate even one full T4C spark, you're going to have to grind it quite a bit. And so at this point, I am going to be saving all of my Energon. I am not going to be spending it on basically anything over the next 4 weeks. I was thinking about getting Slipstream if they do release her for Energon, but I don't think I'm going to do that because Fog of War is more important. And if you're willing to grind it, if you can put aside some time, it's definitely achievable to get one T4C spark per class. The nice thing is you are getting it for every class. You can definitely accumulate one, and if you grind it like crazy, you could even get 2 or 3. It just depends on how much time and Energon you have. So if you want to take Fog of War seriously and get a bunch of T4C, you're going to want probably at least a few thousand Energon saved up. At least 1 to 2,000, and if you want to grind it an insane amount, you'd want to have even more. So that's my recommendation to you. Like I said, it's not 100% guaranteed that it will come in late June, but I think it's extremely likely. It'll probably run June 23 to 30 or June 24 to July 1, almost certainly. So anyway, you want to think about that. You want to be preparing for Fog of War. Don't blow Energon on things that you don't need if you want to be able to grind Fog of War a lot. Okay? So I hope this has been helpful, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about Fog of War or wall dodging attacks. Take care of yourselves, and we will speak again soon.